All right, here I am in Ottawa, nice and warm, and there's Greg and John in Saskatoon, 1 or 2 degrees above 0 Celsius, enjoying the light rain and snow. This is Canada. It starts snowing in October and ends, I think, the 31st of July, and starts again, of course, a month later. Hey, John, I mean, as bad as Saskatoon might be in the winter, I think Ottawa's just as bad.
You know, if you're Canadian and you don't like the weather, you should leave.
You know what? I don't really mind it. You know what I'm trying to do this winter, John? I built an outdoor meeting room in my backyard because I still want to meet some people live. Right. I've got clients visiting me from BC, but we can't really go indoors because of the pandemic. I think we'd be breaking the rules. They're clearly not in my bubble. And so I built an outdoor room. So it's basically it's got a bit of a tent. It's got a table and chairs, 6 feet apart. And I put some heaters out there, and I surrounded it by dwarf evergreens to keep, the wind down. And so far it's been pretty good.
Good. Right on. Good. Well, we're really excited about this building. We think out of everything, we think that out of everything that we looked at, this has the greatest possibility of a reduced offer because of its functional obsolescence with the building height.
Yeah, I am super excited about this one. Greg emailed me, I think either this morning or late last night, that it had been on the market. I can't remember, Greg, was it 400 days?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
And
so
most of that time.
But anyways, the agent's sitting here waiting inside for us to go walk through. So
yeah, well, I don't really. That's the agent for the seller, correct?
Yes.
So I don't really.
He's our agent.
He's our agent.
Oh, he's the agent for the buyer.
Yes.
He's not in multiple representation.
No, he's not the listing agent.
Okay, and John, he's trustworthy?
I believe
we
so.
We think so. His wife is the owner of the local Toyota dealership. So,
well, just because, as you know, the animation strategies that we discuss between the three of us, that intellectual property belongs to you, not to the seller. And yes. If the seller figures out what you're about to do with it, John, Greg sent me a spreadsheet. I don't know if you've seen it yet, that if this thing works according to plan, I think it's like a 23 or 24% cap rate.
Yep.
Which is like, buying a house for $400,000 and being able to rent it, I don't know, for, $100,000 a year. That'd be a pretty cool house. And so that is a terrific cap rate. So as long as you trust the agent, that's great. Greg, do you know how to reverse your phone? If you look on your phone, you can reverse it.
I know how to do that normally. I'm gonna try to figure that out with
Zoom does allow you to, otherwise you're going to end up walking around like this. You won't know where you're going. So you have to be able to turn it around.
There you go.
Now I'm just looking at us. So
I'm still seeing you. As soon as you turn it around, I'll see where you're going, and so will you.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the easiest thing here. So
take a moment. Did you turn? No, wait a second. Did you turn the camera around, or did you just turn the phone around?
I just turned the phone around.
Oh, come on, Greg. You won't be able to see it. It won't work. All I'm seeing is a picture of you now.
Yeah.
Greg, it's an IQ test.
Yeah, and I'm failing it.
You are, for a PhD, you are definitely, letting the side down.
I am.
So turn it back towards yourself.
Yeah, I did.
And so I think might be 3 bars where it says, reverse the camera, that sort of thing.
Well, that's what I was looking for, but it's not here.
Shoot.
Zoom doesn't look like that for some reason.
Yeah, I know it can be done because I've done a lot of these. I think I told you I have clients in Long Beach, California, and they're really active buyers, so I do quite a bit of this.
Yeah.
Right now, your camera isn't even on. I've just got, picture, like a still picture.
Yeah, and I can't get back.
Oops. Shit. Oop, I'm going to pause the recording now. Excuse my language.
There.
Yeah, you had it, I think. You had it turned around. There you go. There you go. Excellent. All right. So Greg.
Yep.
So because I have to understand what we're doing, can you go back and just exit the building and enter the building so I can see how you got where you are? And
sure.
it kind of orients me, and I want to see where the street is too. So we're standing outside. Is this the main door? Yeah. Okay. And this is the place, if you pan left, attaboy, and you pan right, this is kind of the place that, and if you do a full 360, this is kind of the place I think that you and I thought could be beautifully done, by the way. This could be a place, for example, where you could have a mini contractor yard and, for example, a used car guy having a workshop inside or an office inside your building, and he or she, they could be selling used cars. You could get, with that, you could get a base rent. It's called a triple net rent, so they could pay a base rent, their operating costs, their share of utilities, their share of property taxes, and of course, you could get a percentage of their sales if they agree to that. It could be a Hertz rent-a-car. I mean, it could be a truck rent-a-car, or it could be car sales and car rentals. Who knows? But this part of the building, I think, has great potential for that kind of user.
Yes, I agree. Yep.
All right, so let's walk in now. Let's go in. This is 1638 Alberta Avenue, and even though it says Alberta Avenue, it's in, as we started off with this thing, it's in Saskatoon. So now you have inside the building, what is the ceiling height where you are now?
Looks to be about 12 or 13 feet.
Wow, fantastic. Quite a nice entry, I think.
Yeah, so there's a 7-foot door and probably 5 feet above it.
Wow,
so, yeah.
Fantastic. And this could be, you know, a perfect place, for example, either for the headquarters for your storage facility, your workshop facility, or it could be the place where somebody has an office, you know, selling used cars or renting vehicles, what have you, correct?
Yes.
All right, so just walk me around. What do you got there to the right? That's kind of like an office?
Yep, there's a couple of office spaces here.
Wow. Beautiful. And then what do we find in here?
Same thing.
And what's this to the right? That's a door. And where does that door go?
Just goes into another little office.
Okay, so can you go in there? Is John around? Because I'd like him to hear this too, if possible.
He's outside with Sean. Okay,
so let me tell you about the office within the office. Do you notice how it is an office inside an office?
Yes.
So Greg, one of the things I did was I ran the largest co-working space. It was back then in the day, it was called mini offices. I ran the largest co-working space in Eastern Ontario, 164 mini offices, 120 downtown Ottawa and 44 in the west end of Ottawa. There was a big demand for mini offices that are just designed exactly like this. In other words, I could be, if I was a manager, I could be in the office that you're in now, and my admin assistant, my executive assistant, my sales assistant could be in the other office. Do you sort of see how it functions together?
Yes, yep. And there's two of these.
So I didn't realize it until just now that in addition to everything else in your business model, you could have a co-working space.
Correct. Yep.
Although today co-working space is like a dirty word because of WeWork.
Yes.
So I would call it mini offices.
Sure. So there's two of them here.
Yeah.
And if I walk through this way, there's a boardroom.
Wow.
And a little, and another little.
Oh my God. These are perfectly set up for co-working spaces. And the reason that co-working space is now a dirty word is that, they generally are just a big hall where you have, 50 or 100 people working together. Perfect super spreader event for COVID-19. Whereas what you're showing me are mini offices where you can isolate. Do you understand that? Greg, you're muted. You must have hit the mute button. So if you don't mind, could you unmute yourself? Mr. Yelland, Dr. Yelland? Attaboy. Try and unmute yourself because I can't hear you. Take a moment.
Sorry about that.
Perfect. So did you understand what I was saying just a moment ago?
Yes, yeah, I did.
So mini offices, yes. Open concept co-working spaces, no.
Correct.
During a pandemic. So my original mini office model was better. And this is fantastic. You guys are going to make a fortune with this building, in my opinion.
Another decent sized office.
What do I see on the right? Is that a window to something?
Yeah.
A window to what?
Another office.
So, no, but all kidding aside, again, Greg, that is the office within an office. So if you were in that office and I was in the other office, say you're the vice president and I'm the president, we can, we can leave that window open. We can yell at each other.
Correct. So I have to come back out to the foyer.
Yep. Hang it right
here to a kitchen area.
Hi guys. Hi John. Can you see me okay? Is that Sean?
Yeah, that's Sean. Yeah.
It's Sean. Yeah.
Sean, can you see me in Greg's phone? Yeah, I'm very good looking. I have to tell you that. So Sean, just good to meet you. I coach John and Greg, and I think they're quite excited about this building. Sean, as I understand it, you represent John and Greg and not the seller, correct?
Yes.
And so we're going to have an open discussion about this building, about the uses that John and Greg might put it to, but that information is private and confidential. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I know you're a realtor and realtors have a code of ethics and I respect that. So thank you.
Good.
So John, Greg, can you just move the phone over so I can see John?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, but just put it, no, don't, oh, you're pro. You don't have to turn it around. You just have to put it on John so I can see John's happy face. So yeah, hi, John. So John, one of the things that we talked about just before you and Sean came inside is that that main entrance that we just came in, that courtyard, if you will, that parking area just out front is perfectly sized for a mini contractor yard. So if the zoning, and Sean will check this, if the zoning permits, say, for example, used car sales, you could have somebody in this part of the building who's doing car rental and car sales and maybe even car, maintenance and repairs. And what you will get from that is both a base rent, triple net rent, so a base rent, and they will pay their share of the operating costs, their utilities, and their share of property taxes. The other thing that's possible for you guys when you find an operator like that is getting, and we discussed this earlier, a percentage of their sales. That's a very important part of being a more successful landlord. And that is frankly one of the best spaces in the building. The other thing that I saw, John, is that can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but the contractor just showed up. So let's go walk through the building if we can, and we can talk about this after.
Okay, whatever. All right.
There's a kitchen area.
So one of the other things that you probably have room for here, Greg, if you keep going, how many bathrooms there? Were there two?
There's two, yeah.
Yeah, and here's another.
There's some more.
So we go down here. What are we seeing here? Another bathroom, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that our plan is to take all this off.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, John. We'll talk about it, because one of the things I was about to say is that this thing is also perfectly set up for mini offices. And it used to be that co-working spaces have kind of taken over for mini offices, but not anymore, because of the safety factor of many offices having your own private space. So I'm not sure you're going to take it out.
So here's another office.
Yeah. How many offices do you think there are in total?
Well, you can count them on the plan. I think there's 7 or 8.
7 or 8, yeah. And this office has windows out onto the production floor.
Fantastic. So John, one of the things about mini offices is it's a very profitable industry. I ran the largest mini office complex, 2 of them in fact, in Eastern Ontario. So what is the ceiling height here?
Okay, so I just measured it. So the deck height of the top is 14 feet. The other beam is 13, and then the cross beams are 12.
Okay.
So really, 13 feet is our max height.
Yeah, and that is, it's completely substandard for any heavy industrial user, but for what you guys want to use it for, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, if you can just look over there, could you see my finger? I'm pointing to the upper part of the roof. Yeah,
perfect.
So we can put bigger ones on the bottom, and then on top we can stack the other ones in the holes. So.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so your option number 4 in Greg's spreadsheet, John, was stacking them. But I think the initial plan would be to go without stacking them and see how it goes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, how many you remember we talked about putting workshops around the perimeter of the building and opening up the building, so that you could have workshops that have entrances from the outside and their own ingress and egress. How practical is that, John?
John's just talking to the contractor right now. This back wall that you're looking at, Bruce, there's a back alley with good access against this wall. So if the city allows us, we could put holes, or we could put doors in this entire wall here.
Is that a bearing wall?
Yeah.
So you'd have to reinforce the structure.
Right. Now they have reinforcements here as well.
Yeah.
But yes, we would have to reinforce it.
So what you would want to do is you'd want to put in a man door and an overhead door if you have enough room. And how tall do you think the overhead door could be there?
Well, we've got 13 feet to the beam, so we could put in a 10-foot or 12-foot door.
So the ideal size for a door, is 12 feet high and 11 feet wide. I put in on one of my structures a door that was 9 feet by 10 feet, and that was a mistake. And the reason for that is, the tow trucks and the RVs and the 3-ton trucks, you can't get them in. And that was a big mistake on my part. I would never do that again. I would go 11 feet wide and 12 feet high if you can. If you can do that, just about everything that you want to get in, you can get in.
Right, we can do that.
Yeah, I think you can. Now, obviously, you can't get a bus in there. You need 14 feet for that, but you won't get 14 feet in this building. But with 12 feet by 11 feet, you'll get, like I said, the tow trucks, the 3 tons. I think you can get a 5-ton in, just about anything you want.
Yeah, anything we're going to want to.
All right, so keep going. Something else I'm going to mention to you, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but then you already do, Dr. Yelland, is that in that kitchen, it's so big, you're going to put in a ping pong table.
Sure.
No, I mean it. You would be amazed at having just something as simple as a ping pong table, how it brings people together.
Right. So I have no trouble with that. Now this is the back wall.
Yep.
And there's another. As I understand it, there's another building behind this.
Oh, yeah. I know the floor plan real well because I studied it. So keep going.
Okay.
How much power have you got in the building?
Well, at one point, they had loads of power because there was fabrication work going on here.
Right. Because if you do a full perimeter of makerspaces, you'll need a lot of power.
We have all these panels. I don't think they're all hooked up and working at the moment, but that's one of the things the contractor is going to tell us is how much power we've got and what our options are there.
Right. Well, for like in one of my workshops, I've got 4 seamstresses working on their machines, like 14 hours a day, and they draw a lot of power.
So there's another couple of bathrooms out here.
This is Greg, this is a fantastic building. What's that on the left? Just pan left again? What's that?
I'm not sure. It's just kind of a jut out. I'm just walking around to see what that is.
I think you can get into the other side of the building, maybe.
It's
probably a vault.
That's effectively what it is, yeah. And it takes me through to a couple more bathrooms for the other building.
Wow.
Yep.
This is great. So, Greg, you know, maybe John doesn't understand the mini office concept quite yet, but I want you to explain it to him.
Sure. Now I'm back in the first building.
Okay.
And there's one overhead door.
Yeah, can you open that door? Is there, you know, I don't want you to hurt yourself, but is there like a button to push? Or maybe it's just a chain. It looks like it's booby trapped, like in the film Speed.
Yeah. This is not hooked up, so.
Doesn't that look like a stick of dynamite there or plastic explosives?
It does. I'll check when.
Yeah. Is there a man door? Is there a man door there?
Yes.
Why don't you go out that man door and we can just see what's out there? Don't get yourself locked out. Like it'll probably swing shut and so where are we now?
This is facing where we started, where I was standing when we did the 360.
Right.
Back around this way, there's the man door.
Yeah.
And there's the overhead door.
Wow. What a fantastic. So that's your first, that there, right there is your first makerspace that's going to rent. Right there.
Right.
You got a man door and you got the overhead door. Is that a bathroom there?
Sorry?
Is that a bathroom there or what's that in that little?
It's just a little site manager office.
It's perfect. I mean, that's going to be one of the first makerspaces or workshops that you're going to rent. That's going to rent in a flash. You watch. All right, so go on. What's that door way down there? Was that the door to the vault?
It's the door to the other building, which is where kind of where the vault was.
All right, let's go there.
A little labyrinth here.
It is. It is. Well, so once you buy this sucker and get it going, you will be. Now, where does that double door go?
That's the double doors that I showed you from the outside just a minute ago.
Can we walk out that door too?
I think so.
Sorry to be so directive, but you know, I'm 3,000 kilometers away.
Yes.
Isn't Zoom really fantastic though?
It is.
And by the way, you're doing a very steady job. Like, you know, you're not shaky. It's not shaky camera, you know, making me sick. So I think, can you pan to the right? You're right. Don't get locked out. And keep going around if you don't mind. This is great. So I think this is another maker space for you. If you just circle all the way around 360, don't get locked out. We come in this door. Let's go in there. It's a double door, right? This is another maker space. Do you understand?
I do, yeah.
So you can let that door slam behind you and just stop and pan left. Look at that. That's a perfect maker space. You know, I don't know. That's probably about 800 square feet. That one will rent in a jiffy too. Fantastic. Yep. This is incredible. All right, keep going.
There's more physical plant stuff here.
Yeah, lots of power, I think.
Yep.
Oh God, you'll be able to, you know, manufacture nuclear weapons.
Yeah, they used to have quite a big fab shop in here.
I'll bet they did.
So as I walk in from the double doors,
yeah,
to the right, there's
interesting.
They've taken out a portion of the wall here.
Yeah.
To make this space fully accessible.
Wow.
This is probably 12 or 14 feet across now.
Yep.
There's windows.
Can we look out one of the windows?
Sure. It leads out to Alberta Avenue.
So is that a busy street?
It's one block. It's one street in from a busy street.
Okay. So this is, again, you could open up this part of the building as well for more workshops. That's for sure. If you got windows, you can have doors.
Yep.
And this could be a number of workshops. Isn't that fantastic?
And there's another little office with a door.
Can we go out that door, please?
Sure.
And this is Alberta Avenue?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
Yep.
Again, without getting locked out, can you turn around again? And yep. So we've got a door here and windows there. I saw that. To the right, what do we see again? More windows?
It'll be more windows.
All right, let's go back in. Hang a right if you can. Don't let John take out all of these offices and fit up. You're just going to end up putting them back up.
Yeah, some of these were ones we wanted to keep. So
yeah, well, trust me on this. That you will have lots of makers in here, and I didn't know until we started doing this about 20 minutes ago or half an hour ago. You will have lots of co-working space, lots of mini offices.
Yes,
we're going to talk to you while you walk. I am one of the world's leading experts in mini offices. So when you guys are leasing this, I'm going to do a whole session on how to do mini office leasing properly. Okay.
Okay. So this is the window.
Yeah, I saw that.
On the door, we just came in.
This is fantastic. It's just great. These are co-working spaces galore. What kind of a bathroom is that?
That is a huge bathroom.
Yeah, I think that one is going to be something else. I don't know.
It's the dance hall of bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, it really.
The boardroom.
Wow.
Sorry.
I mean, that's, to me, that wouldn't be a boardroom. That would just be another co-working space.
And another long hallway with a bathroom at the end of it.
Yeah, the other bathroom is going to be a storeroom. You're going to take that toilet out.
There's a.
Yep.
These
are perfect co-working spaces, mini offices. They're perfect because you can, like you and your executive assistant can form your own bubble, if you understand what I'm getting at.
Yes.
And again, every time you have an opportunity, like those two windows there, yep. Just pan to the right. If you could replace that with a door, that's a makerspace.
I could.
Yep.
And
this is unbelievable.
There is another door.
Oh, perfect.
And another big open foyer kind of an area.
Yeah, that's a makerspace.
Yep. And it leads back to.
And more of these things.
This is a hallway leading back to the second building.
Yeah, we're going to go in there in a minute. So another mini office.
Yep.
We'll go down that hall in a minute. Let's go see the other offices to the left.
Okay.
That's right. The other right.
That was this one.
The other left. Yeah, there. Oh, look at that. Wow. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, keep going, brother.
So we've seen all of these now.
Oh, we have, eh? All right, so
yep.
Let's go into the building. You were right. Okay. I stand corrected. Wow, look at this.
So and this ceiling looks like it might have more height than the other building, or this building looks like more height. So there's a man door.
Yeah.
And this is probably the dock door.
Yep.
And then there's two larger doors.
Yeah, fantastic.
I don't know which one of these is the dock. Yeah, the small one here is the dock door.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is the 6.5 ton, 100-foot long movable crane. So this
is the place where your containers are going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
How many containers could you put in here? I'm not talking about stackable. I'm just talking about one level of containers.
Well, they're 7 feet wide.
Yep.
And this, I think, is like 130 feet long, maybe a little more.
Yeah, looks like it.
We can probably, we can put a single row. We can go across there. 60 or 70 containers, I bet.
Wow.
Certainly 50 without stacking them.
I'll bet you when you actually do it and you fiddle around with it, you get 60.
Yep.
That's
so
fantastic.
We have another little tiny office.
Yeah. Now here in this part of the building where you're going to have mostly containers, then you can get rid of these. Then John's right. This you take out.
Yeah. This is just a.
Yeah, this is nothing. Yeah, you want this thing to be a big square box where you can put as many containers as possible.
More bathroom space.
Yeah, man, they must have had like 1,000 people in there for the number of bathrooms they have.
Yeah. Okay, we've seen all of that. Another little manager's office, it looks like.
Yeah, and again, because you won't need this, this comes out.
Yep, exactly.
So John is right on this side of the building. Take everything out.
And this takes us back to where we came through to the building. Those are the double windows.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So there's an overhead door between these two parts of the building.
Yeah, keep that. That's useful. If it's another bathroom, I'm going to scream.
No, it's telecom stuff.
Yeah, that's completely outdated.
Yep. And
this is an unbelievable find.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, especially if we can get it at a good price and good terms.
Well, I'm hoping around $1.5 million.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, they're asking what, I think 2.5?
2.7, yeah.
Yeah, maybe $1.5 million.
So this
with some good terms.
Storage looks like tool storage, maybe.
Yep.
Bathroom, nope. Wash, just sink.
Yeah, it's just maybe an eye wash or something in case you have a problem.
Yep.
Man, for what you guys want, you know, you could not have found a better place. Do you mind if we go outside, Greg, and we walk around the whole thing?
Sure.
Because I've got a pretty good handle now on everything on the inside.
Yes. Okay, this is the man door beside the dock door.
Yep. There's the loading dock. And yep. Can we walk around the building?
Sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, jam that roll of tape in so the door doesn't slam behind you, and we can come back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do up my coat here.
Oh, that too. I forget, I'm nice and warm.
I'm Canadian, but I'm not silly.
Yeah, I hear you.
So here's my. Do you want me just to walk the perimeter, or what would you prefer?
Walk around the whole building. We want to see the neighbors. You know, we want to see the building from the outside. This is fantastic. Now let's go and look at the neighbors just to the right. Pan right. What do you see? Just describe what you're seeing.
Okay, there's probably a 40-foot wide gate.
Yeah.
That leads out onto Alberta Avenue.
That leads to Alberta Avenue. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So it does look like it's big enough for a few mini contractor yards. You know, the typical contractor yard is 40 or 45 feet wide by 100 feet deep. So I think you can get a few of them in here.
Yeah, I think we probably could, because we could probably get 6 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe more.
Imagine what a contractor, how he will love you if he can get a yard and then he can get some storage inside and he can get a mini office.
Yes.
Do you understand that, the combination?
I do. Now this, I'll walk back this way and see who my neighbor is. Can't really tell. Magnus, which I think is a construction firm.
Does any of this equipment come with this sale?
I don't know. I think a lot of this equipment belongs to the Cathedral Stone people.
Okay.
Who is currently the only tenant.
The other thing that you could do, in addition to the mini office, mini contractor yards that we're seeing here, is you could have one yard for RVs and equipment storage, just that you run yourself. Because I think you know, Greg, that RV parking and equipment parking is one of the most profitable things you can do with land.
Okay.
You know, like on an acre of land, you can get about 65 or 70 RVs. And you could charge, I don't know what it is in Saskatoon, but you could probably charge $65 per vehicle, right? So on an acre, if you had 65 vehicles and you charge $65 a month, that's $4,225 a month from your parking lot. Just an acre of a parking lot times 12 is $50,000 a year of income from just parking RVs and loaders, dozers, you know, trucks, buses, you name it.
Right. And if I remember correctly, the total land space here is 1.5 acres.
Yeah, so you know, you're probably better off with 6 mini contractor yards than having an RV park, because you know, or equipment parking, because it's less work for you.
Yeah. So we have another big gate.
Wow.
Out into the back alley.
Yeah.
And across the street, we've got some loading docks and just kind of the back of the building over there, which looks like this would be the Magnus people again.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, Magnus Construction Services. Spray foam, attic, so they're insulation people.
Very good to know. Now, what would you do with the big crane?
Sorry?
What would you do with the big crane?
I don't know. I'd like to get rid of it, but John figures we would use that because he thinks that would be a draw for people.
I don't know what you would use it for, but I think he's right. Don't take it out, because if you take it out, you will never put it back in.
No.
Does it move on rails?
It does. Yeah. There's 100-foot rails here that it slides back and forth on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for example, if you do any boat storage,
right?
You can, you know, you can pull a boat off of you know, a lowrider and park it somewhere, put it in the cradle.
Yep.
No, I think he's right. I think you keep it.
Okay. So there's a dock. Pardon me. There's an overhead door there and a man door.
Yep.
And this is where the Cathedral Stone people are. And they're.
Are they still renting it?
They're renting it until beginning of April.
Yeah, I think you want vacant possession.
Yep. So then when coming back along the side of the crane, there's a man door and the 2 overhead doors and then the dock door.
That's fantastic.
And just a quick look around.
Now, I don't think we've been around the entire perimeter. We've been through, I think, 180, not 360.
I'm just doing a 360 in this yard right now.
Right.
Do you want me to walk around the outside of the building?
I do.
Okay.
Don't forget, we're recording this, so this will be your record. You and John can sit there for hours. Literally, you could go frame by frame and design your building with your architect or your architectural technologist or your draftsman or your engineer, and you will have a real good idea of what to do with this building just from this video. At least that's my hope.
Yes. Yeah.
So frame by frame, I'm not kidding. You want to make sure that this building gets and achieves that 23 or 24% cap rate that we've been talking about, Greg.
Yeah.
We've been down that direction, right?
I'm just kind of reorienting ourselves back to the
Yep, I see it.
fence in the back alley.
And now we go this way. Down. Now this is the side, this is the alley, right?
Correct.
Is it a legal alley or is it just sort of something people are using?
No, it's legal. It's probably 40 feet wide.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of, well, there's 8 or 10 semi-trailers parked in the street lot beside us. There's a lot of big traffic here.
Yeah.
So a long walk down this addition to the building.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It is. There's a man door.
So you might be able to have some more maker spaces on this side if that's a public, if that's a public alleyway.
Yes, and that's what John was thinking. In this wall,
yeah,
we would put a bunch of overhead doors because this is the first place we looked at with the 13-foot ceiling.
Yeah, yeah, and get rid of all of that garbage there, and when you open up your building, every time you open it up, you create more value. Think about how valuable it is to, let's say I was a furniture refinisher, or I'm running a registered massage therapy practice, or whatever it might be. That having my own ingress and egress, my own little address, and you'd have to obviously dress it up a little bit. So what is that? Is that another door or what?
It's sorry, hang on. It is kind of an exit out of the first warehouse we looked at.
Oh, yeah. It's an emergency exit.
We've got about a 2-foot drop.
Yeah. Watch the step.
And, so this is the back of I think this is the back of the neighbor's building.
Yeah, I think it is. So does your building actually run up against theirs?
There's about a 2 or 3 foot gap.
So not much.
I'll go back.
Yeah. So yeah, there's enough to get in there if there's any maintenance issues.
Yep. Yeah, because there's a couple of trees growing. So there's at least 2.5 feet in there.
Good.
So I just got to walk around the building now.
That's fine. Means we get to see more of the neighborhood, and I think that's good. I have another question for you.
Okay.
So you need to have Sean help you check check the zoning code, right, for the stuff that we've been talking about, right? Make sure that you can do the things you want to do.
Yeah, it's zoned IH.
Yeah.
Sean said at this point he thinks we can do all that we're talking about doing.
But there's one more thing that I would like you to ask him to check, and whether or not you would be allowed to have a microsuite in there.
Okay, sure. Our neighbors are a sign company.
Okay. Do you know why I'm talking about a microsuite in the building?
Nope.
Because if you can have one person living on site on a building of this scale and size, it provides a whole other level of security.
Yes. Okay.
And it's called, Greg, it's called an accessory residential use.
Okay. And
many industrial zones do permit. It's like what used to be called, like a caretaker. I don't think that's no longer politically correct, but
right.
Basically, for a caretaker.
Okay, so this is back where we started.
Yeah.
I'm now walking down Alberta Avenue.
Yeah.
So this is the west side of the building.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping I can get in through this gate.
Something else that you're going to want to think about is improving the branding of this building. And what I mean by that is, really great signage.
Yep.
Attractive and pretty, and not having, crap everywhere, inside and outside, very clean, very neat. I think that might be locked. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, no weeds growing, and it's not that you spend a lot of money. It's just clean, neat, cheerful.
Yes.
Because branding is really, really important for makers They want, you know, like I've got an Amish style barn. Makers are crazy for that kind of stuff.
Right. Yep.
And, you know, if you have, you know, really funky, fun, cheerful signage and a very neat looking building, you know, no garbage anywhere, no weeds growing everywhere, you know, you will rent this thing, no problem. People have confidence in things that are branded properly. They just have confidence in it. If you come, you know, like I think I've told you this analogy I use all the time. If you and I went shopping for a couple of nice suits, and we go into a, you know, Harry Rosen suit store in downtown Toronto, and all the suits are lying on the floor covered in dust, they might be very nice suits, but we're probably not going to buy any.
Correct. So would you like me to walk around the neighbor's building to get back in, or go back in through the regular building?
Whatever you think is best. I have a pretty good handle on it.
Okay, I think I'm a little closer to going back this way.
You can take your time.
And there's a couple of ball diamonds across the street between us and Idlewild Drive, which is a major thoroughfare.
Yeah. Now you do know that I think it's also important for you though to at least on part of the outside save a little bit of the area for you know, picnic tables, barbecue, maybe a little bocce court. And maybe another ping pong table. This one is outside, maybe even a pickleball court, because I've told you this, Greg, people who play together, stay together. The maker communities that we're creating, they love getting together. You know, we only have a few months of summer, whether it's Saskatchewan or Ontario, but in those few months, people want to get together, they want to be together, they want to play together, and that creates a community. And then the makers in your building, they start trading with each other. So if you provide spaces inside, a little bit of playland inside, a little bit of playland outside, you are much more likely to retain your clients for longer, and they pay more and they're happier.
Right. Yep, I'm in complete agreement with all that.
And you know, it's remarkably inexpensive to do, and people forget it.
Yeah. I have to figure out my way through the maze. Nope. Now you might get dizzy.
Are you getting dizzy?
No, but I'm doing the walking, so I'm not going to get dizzy.
Yeah, I'm getting a little.
Yes. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I you know, if I puke, it'll only be on me.
All right, so we're back in first warehouse space.
Yeah. So I think, Greg, what we should do, if you turn the camera around, you and I'll just chat for a minute. Okay. There we go. So I do think you put in an offer on this building, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, if we're getting it empty, which we will, my thoughts are, you know, if we could get a decent size.
Just stop walking for a minute. We'll just talk to the two of us here for a minute.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so keep going.
I'm just trying to think of different ways to manage the burn rate.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
At the beginning. So, I mean, if we could get the building at a good price and then get good terms so that we're not having to come up with fork out a bunch of cash right away.
Right, absolutely.
That would be my preference. So
you know, let's just walk through it together. What would be your purchase price?
If I could do the $1.5 million.
Yeah.
And vendor take back mortgage. And
how much?
Most of it. And some kind of a payment holiday for the first 3 to 6 months. That would be the ideal.
So what you might do is you might offer them $1.55 million. So an odd number, 1.55 million. How much could you and John put down?
I don't know. We've each got a couple of $100,000 or $150,000 worth of containers and equity for the deal, but hard cash is something I'm still working on. We might be able to pull up 150 or 200 grand cash.
So let's say you would put 10% down, so that'd be $155,000, and you would ask for a 90% seller take back.
Yeah.
For 3 years at 4%.
Okay.
Paid monthly in arrears, interest only.
Yep.
And the first 4 months, no payments.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And you know, that would be an opening offer. You would want, I think, vacant possession.
Yep.
And if they say no, then what you could do is you could probably get a 65% loan to value first mortgage.
Right.
But it would be more than 4%, I could tell you that right now.
Yes.
So you could probably then offer them 1.55 million, 65% loan to value first mortgage, 150,000 of your own cash, and then the balance would be a seller take back or vendor take back mortgage. And the first mortgage that you put in place and the second mortgage, which is the seller take back mortgage, have to have the same maturity date 3 years from now.
Correct.
Okay. What you should do, in my opinion, to generate cash as quickly as possible, now that I've seen the building, is I need you to go back to your spreadsheet and count up all those offices, and you can then rent them as many offices like tomorrow.
Sure.
And in your offer, you would want to have a conditional period. During that conditional period, you would do environmental phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is, right?
No, not offhand.
Okay, an environmental phase 1 means you'll have to hire an environmental company to investigate the chain of title and to come on site to make sure that there's no pollution on the site.
Sure. Okay.
All right. It costs about $2,500 to do that, but you need that. You won't get a loan unless you have that.
Correct. Okay.
So that has to be a condition of the offer.
Okay.
Okay. Environmental phase 1. Another condition of the offer is financing.
Okay.
Right. Another will be the inspection of all deliveries. And the deliveries are, you want a survey. You want to know what the property taxes are for the last 2 or 3 years. You want to know what the assessment is for the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
You need a set of floor plans, and they have to be as-built as opposed to architectural plans. Do you know the difference between architectural plans and as-built?
No.
Okay. Every architect who has ever designed a building, he or she may be a fantastic architect, but what you actually build and what is drawn up in an office are not the same.
Correct. Okay.
So if you have a set of architecture plans that were originally filed with the city of Saskatoon, that's great, but that's not the same as built, because trust me on this, every contractor has to make changes. It just have to. I mean, it just is the nature. So an as-built takes those architectural plans and shows what was actually built, and it's always different. Yeah. So if you base your concepts and plans on what the architect shows, when you actually go to implement it, it won't be right.
Right.
Okay, the dimensions will be wrong, and all kinds of things will be in there. So hopefully they'll have as-built. So you want a survey, you want the as-builts, the original architecture plans too, but you want the as-builts if they have them. Yeah. It also has to be conditional on a building inspection. You need a proper building inspection for sure on this, so that it's not falling down. Another condition is a zoning review, and that's called a pre-consultation with the city of Saskatoon. So you and John will go and actually meet with the city, and the transportation people will be there, the zoning people will be there, the plans people will be there, planners will be there, and the building branch will be there as well.
Right.
So that's kind of a typical outline. You need about 6 weeks for your due diligence. Okay. So it's it's not like buying a house. You could do that in a week, maybe or 2. But a building this size, you're probably going to need 6 or 7 weeks to do it. A closing date will be, I think, in the probably in March. I think that's probably the right closing date for you. Maybe February.
Okay.
Do not try and close it in December.
Nope.
around Christmas time, it's really difficult. You just won't, you know, everything will go wrong. And the first 2 weeks of January are shot. I mean, you know, if you ever want to invade Canada, the United States, the time to do it is Christmas.
Yes.
You know, we're going to get, we're going to lose to the Russians or the Chinese or the North Koreans. So it would be a February closing or something like that. So if you're going to make an offer, though, before you submit it, you should run it past your coach.
Yep.
All right. So Sean can draw it up, but you know, with all due respect, he's going to make a lot of mistakes. He will. Just, you know, just that stuff that he won't know about that you and I will figure out with John as well. But run it by me before you submit it. But I would go after this now.
Okay.
Assuming that they won't do a seller take back mortgage. You may need some investors. You may, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I think if John and you can swing it, just the two of you, that would be better.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But if you need some investors, well, we'll talk about that, and I'll tell you how to do that. But that's later. Something else I'd like you to put in the offer, and you know, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have to review this video so you get all of this. You know, so I don't have to repeat it, okay?
Yes.
Yep. And I know you're a doctor, so you'll do it. The other thing I'd like you to get is once you have waived your conditions, but before closing, you have the right to advertise this building for lease.
Okay.
Okay? It has to be in the agreement.
Sure.
Because if you don't do that, you are not permitted without their permission. And once you have waived your conditions, you say, oh, by the way, we'd like to start pre-leasing it. You understand what I mean by pre-leasing?
Yes. Yep.
They say, well, no, not until you close. Then you're screwed.
Yeah.
So you need that right. Once you've waived your conditions, now it's a firm deal. You have permission. The other thing I need Sean to put in the offer is that the seller appoints you guys, the buyer, as his agent, as their agent for the purposes of, you know, talking to the city, doing the building inspection, doing the phase 1 environmental, doing the marketing and the pre-leasing that I talked to you about. Mm-hmm. So that has to be in the agreement. Otherwise, again, after you've waived, you know, after you've done the deal, they say, well, great. And you say, well, I've got to talk to the city about this building. The city of Saskatoon will not talk to you without the owner's permission.
Sure. Okay.
So, you know, if you put it in the agreement of purchase and sale, you could just say, hey, we are their agent for the purposes of these investigations.
Right.
They can't stop you, and the city has to talk to you.
Right. Perfect.
All right. So you need that in there. Because those little mini offices, I want you to put that on our agenda for our next session. We're going to talk about those because each one of those mini offices could be anything from, you know, $400 or $500 or $600 a month to as much as $1,000 a month. And if you had 20 of them and you rented them all for, you know, I don't know, $750 a month, figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you rented a couple of mini contractor yards before you even, you know, closed on the building in February, think about what that's worth.
Yep.
All right. So the pre-leasing is really important. And if you put it in the agreement for purchase and sale, the seller won't give a damn.
Right.
Right. But if you ask them afterwards, they often are. The other thing that Sean has to put in the agreement of purchase and sale is you need the right to revisit the building after the deal is done, but before closing another 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
Because otherwise they can deny you access.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
Yep. Yeah.
So let's say somebody says, oh my God, I really want one of those mini offices. Can I come and look at it? You have, this is before you close. You have the right to revisit. That's one of your rights.
Right. Okay.
So if you have 6, you know, let's say you had 5 people call you for mini offices, 2 for mini contractor yards, you bundle them together and say, we're going to do it on Friday between 1 and 3. Because otherwise you burn up your rights to revisit like that.
Yes.
And, you know, if you want to bring a contractor in to talk about this or that, that's again what, so you bundle it all together. You've got your mechanical guy, your electrical guy, your structural guy, your phase 1 guy. You absolutely make sure that those rights to revisit are bundled together so that it's one. All right, because
Gotcha.
you make the most of it. Because if you could, if you could pre-lease, you know, 10 or 15 or $20,000 a month in revenue, which I think you probably can do. If you could book that for, say you're closing February 15th and everybody starts 2 weeks later, March 1st, that'll give you and John a lot of comfort.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm gonna hang up now. I've seen the building. I've got this recording. We've talked about its highest and best use. We've invented a few new things here, such as having an accessory dwelling unit for a caretaker. That will be very valuable if it's permitted. You know, having these mini contractor yards and all this other things. There's just one more thing I want to put on the record. There is another possible use for this building.
Okay.
And I'm going to share my screen with you. It'd probably be very tiny on your end, but I'm going to show you one of the things that I've been working on. So in some of these, you know, I've got a few people doing exactly what you're doing in the United States. And one of the things that we're thinking about doing with your storage lockers, you know, the ones that look like this,
Yep.
is what we're thinking of doing is we're thinking in parts of the building, we're going to create a little club. So you might have a part of the building, Greg?
Yep. Yep.
Where you have some of these workbenches and foot lockers. I bet you have some foot lockers that you already are distributing, and some of your bigger lockers that look like this, and you can bundle those together so that you have a shared space. So let me give you an example, all right? Say you had a space that is, you know, I don't know, 40 by 50, 2,000 square feet. You'd have some workbenches in there. How many containers have you got there? How many foot lockers could you have there? So that space, and I have people doing this right now, that space, which is 2,000 square feet, could have, you know, 20 makers in there that share that workshop. So that it's a shared workshop, if you understand. Maybe it would be 2,000 square feet. It might be only 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet, but you could have 20 people in there sharing, and they each pay, I don't know, $250 a month. That's $5,000 a month for a little space.
Yes.
And guess what? They all rent one of your storage lockers because they have to put their tools away every night.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the one way to rent your storage lockers is to rent make it a club where, you know, so I could come in there, put my stuff on a workbench, work on, you know, maybe I'm refinishing a boat, or I'm creating some funky furniture for somebody, or whatever. I can have one of your containers if I have lots of tools, or one of your storage lockers. You probably have the little tiny storage lockers, right?
We do, yeah.
I think you showed me that. Because storage by itself is not going to, is going to be a little bit of a tougher sell than the workshops. Yeah, I think I told you this. For every call I get on for storage, I get at least 4 or 5, if not 6 or 7, for workshops.
Oh wow!
It's you know, I thought it might be 1-to-1. It is not. It isn't even close. And my guys that I'm coaching in Long Beach are reporting the same thing. And I've got people in Kitchener and doing this, and all across Canada now, and a few in the United States. For every call for storage, because there's so much storage around, right? Everybody's got a mini storage.
Yeah, and we want to be different, for sure.
So, yeah, and you want to be different. So if you have these beautiful storage containers of yours, small, medium, and large, you know, Goldilocks, you know, big, little, too hot, too cold, just right. And they have the ability to have a mini office, or they have ability to have a mini contractor yard, or they have the ability to have you know, a workshop, or they have the ability to have a shared workshop. That is what is going to push this thing up the hill and over the other side.
Sure.
So I need you to think about what we've discovered today and invented. We've invented some new things today. Go back to your spreadsheet. I think you'll find that your cap rate might be a little bit higher, but even more importantly is your lease up will be much faster.
Right.
And you just talked about the burn rate. If we can do the pre-leasing thing, we can get that burn rate down.
Yes.
That's crucial. Was that helpful to you today, Greg?
Yep. Yep, very helpful.
All right, so I'll stop recording in a moment, upload it to YouTube unlisted. I'll send it to you and John, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Now, I have one quick question for you.
Okay, no problem.
I'm meeting with, or having a call to meet with the guy who's looking at buying my business.
Cool.
And I put together the various components that I want to talk to him about.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if we could get on a call sometime tomorrow or Friday, and I'd run it by you, and you can tell me if I'm making sense or not.
Have you actually put together like a data sheet for him?
I'm putting it together now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But you know, like spreadsheets are really good, right? Like
it's a bullet point kind of a thing that says
bullet points are good, but I've sold a lot of businesses.
Okay.
What I love the bullet points, and you know what I usually do is I have some bullet points and I put them in a slide deck.
Yep.
So I have bullet points, I put them in a slide deck with lots of nice pictures. So the slide decks are not complicated.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Like if you go into minute detail, you'll lose the guy in 5 minutes. So you've seen some of my slide decks. They're like 90% pictures, you know, and a few little bullet points like you're talking about. So you got some bullet points and you got some pictures. That's your slide deck. But you need to have a spreadsheet too. And in that spreadsheet, what you are going to show is not what you're selling. It's what he is buying. There's a difference.
Yes.
So what that means is what's his name?
Jeff.
Jeff, if you buy this, this is what your financials are going to look like in 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. So you want to do it from his point of view, not your point. Everybody does the fucking spreadsheets, excuse my language, from their point of view, but that's irrelevant. Well, Jeff has to know, how much money am I going to make? Not how much money is Greg going to make?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So do a spreadsheet, and it's literally, it's hard to do, where you turn the hat around, you know? You remember, do you ever remember Daffy Duck? Every time he got in a fight, his bill would go around the back of his head. I want you to turn your hat around, or like Daffy end up with the bill in the back of his head, and he always was doing this, right?
Yeah.
I love Daffy Duck. So I'm being silly, so I want you to do a spreadsheet, simple spreadsheet. Not again, it shouldn't be 10 pages of it.
No.
Here's what's going to happen. You're paying this much for this business. This is the revenue you're going to generate. This is what you're going to put on the bottom line, I think, in year 1, year 2, and year 3. And that's why you should buy this. Okay? Send that to me, and we'll send that to me. I'm not going to schedule anything until I see that, and then I'll schedule it. When are you meeting with Jeff?
I just need to call him today to arrange a time. So that's.
Yeah, but just tell him that, look, you've got a real good handle on what he needs to see, but you just need a little bit more time to work on it, okay?
Yeah, will do.
I really enjoyed this. It's fantastic. I want you to buy this building. You know what? Remember what my dad said. You remember politically incorrect. You see 20 girls, they go by one after the other, and then the one that you really, oh my gosh, I really like this girl. That's the one you ask out for the date, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And this is the girl that you want to ask to the prom.
Perfect.
All right. See you later, Greg.
Thanks, Bruce.
Great job today.
Thanks. Bye.